It is open, my friends. Battles have yet to begin. Laughter we had in gales and floods, if not at least there will be blood. The sorrow and loss may abound. We'll do our best to hold this hallowed ground.
All right.
Yeah.
Nothing else to learn off of him from what I rolled.
From what you rolled, you can expand off of it by talking to him a little bit more, like, especially with that religion one. There's, for you, a religion check in this plane is a little iffy. Mainly because you don't
I'll
really know
ask.
their religions.
I'll ask. So where are you from originally?
What was it called? Galathane. I don't think it exists anymore.
Would I have heard of this place ever? In my assorted readings of both real and quote-unquote not real places?
I'm going to do a history check myself.
Okay, both of you give me history checks.
Yeah, I think I'll do a history check as well.
All right.
13.
13. Definitely no Galavine when Corsinia at Aldrich, and not something you'll be familiar with.
Gotcha.
What was that, Teffy?
18 for moi, please and thank you.
18. Okay.
Oui.
And Boreas?
A 9.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, never heard of it, Boreas, unfortunately. For you, Teffy, it's not a name you're particularly familiar with. You have heard of a Goravan, which is semi-similar, but Goravan was a mythological kingdom from before the Shattering.
Can't say I'm familiar with the name of the place you've mentioned, but it sounds an awful lot like something I'd read about one time. There was this mythological kingdom before the Shattering, very similarly named, and I will repeat the word that you just said to me because I forgot what the word was.
Gorivan.
Goravan. Okay, and what was the word that he had said?
Galavine.
Okay, so those are different words then.
No, logical. Sure.
Can I get spellings on these two cities?
Sure.
Nice, thank you.
Pa-ba-da-ba-ba.
That is not how I would have written that down. My god.
I suppose I wouldn't be surprised. If that's the case, then it probably doesn't exist anymore. But that's okay. Never wanted to go back home anyway. Oh, look at that. Final corridor. This is where you're going to be by yourselves. Taking you as far as I can. Or, well, I can take you farther. I won't lie about that. I've taken you as far as I will. Careful once you get through that particular doorway. By the way, yes, the answer is you must spit on all the doorways. The old knowing didn't particularly like his job.
All right. I will bear that in mind. That this time I can just keep an eye out for a thin vein of the metal, and do not have to lick the entire door.
That was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was not one of my finest moments, I'll concede, but it got the job done.
Eh, at the very least, you can now say you've licked a doorway into existence. With that, I will bid you all adieu. Good luck, and if you die, don't worry, you won't go to waste. And he starts walking off.
At all does he walk past me?
Yeah, he will. He was at the front of the group. He has to walk past all of you.
As soon as he's like here and kind of can't see me, can't see my face, this is gonna sound weird, but this character does it all the time. I'm gonna try and get like a sniff of him and see if I can like if there's any sort of recognition.
A sniff of him. All right, Wes. Dragon's up here.
Would you be able to smell him through the massive cloud of smoke?
Just wafting skunk. Give me a perception check.
Perception 21. 15
21.
on the die.
You're familiar with what the smell of... the pre-smell of death. When something's just died before it gets too gross. There is a hint of that. He's... with you being a dragonborn from Corsinia, there's no pheromones being built, or being made, or being pushed out of this man's pores.
Okay, well, I'm gonna think, oh, that man's dead. That is a that is a zombie.
Did I say he's an immortal zombie?
I don't think he said it out loud.
Oh, I say it out loud. He's an immortal zombie.
Yeah, I don't like that term, but you're not wrong. And he keeps walking off.
Effie just has a very puzzled look about how can something be immortal once it's already been killed.
It's the undead.
It stops
Jesse.
decaying.
Oh, he is definitely decaying. Smell it.
Wow. Pre-decay. Which is why I didn't notice.
Okay. With this, Teffy is going to kind of turn her head, check on William, see if he's better now. In less of a
Still-
frozen, chattery beak type state.
Give me a medicine check.
That is a d6. That would not do very well. 13.
13. He suffered pre-stages of hypothermia, so he's going to have a long rest before he starts recovering from anything.
Okay.
Or you are familiar with arcane practices enough at this point that you know a greater restoration spell would also do it. But not sure if you have any diamonds needed of the size required to do that.
Then I am going to
Dust.
Diamond
keep
dust, yeah.
him on my back. I was going to set him down, but no, let's not do that. Actually, yeah, we're right at the door. I'm just going to set him down, and then I'm going to look for a vein of the metal, and then I will lick my finger and place it on the vein of metal, and hope that is sufficient to open the door.
When you do it on this one, the moisture again gets sucked right into it, and the metal seems to expand outwards, dustifying all the stone around. Dustifying, that's a word now. All the stone around to make a doorway, like an open doorway. Around the
Maria's fake sneezes.
edges of it, you can see that thin layer of that metal still there.
Then I will see what I can through this door frame.
As soon as you get a little closer and kind of do that little pop of your head to look around, the wafting smell of something foul reaches your nose very quickly. It smells not of refuse. It's rather undefinable. Not something you've ever smelled before. You can probably draw some comparisons: bile, acidic natures, refuse, maybe a little bit in there, but it's like its own unique stench. The corridors, though, they all nearly appear to be the same. The only discrepancy is these are much dimmer hallways, and it looks as though the veins that you've seen spiraling around and twisting and ecking their way through all the corridors you've been going so far, they're not. They're broken. There's places where you will see a vine or a strand of it going along the wall and then stop, and the entrance that you'll be looking at will have like a break in it.
I'm gonna spark up a torch, because I have one in my inventory.
Spark up a torch.
Oh, I have more than one. Ooh.
The yellow light of your torch reflects off the walls, mixing with the blue of the veins that you do see.
Yeah. I'm gonna use another one.
Okay. This
I'm gonna
passageway,
use one of these.
put one of those. This passageway twists and vines around. You can see there are several other areas that you could branch off, but one of them is going up in a direction. Another one's actually genuinely on the ceiling. But your path feels direct on this downward curve.
I'm gonna hand one of those torches to William. That way he can be warm. I'll stand at the back. He's kind of towards the front. Well,
What are you all doing?
wherever Teffy goes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You follow.
Yeah. So what exactly do you think he meant by if we don't die? Because the smell is kind of off-putting.
Yeah, entirely certain, nor filled with confidence about that entire interaction we just had with Rupert. But
Also, it seemed as though we would either be turned into zombies or compost. So,
I'd prefer to be compost. I'm just not sure that my body would be very helpful in terms
Laborious
of compost.
chuckles.
I don't want to be compost yet, though. Watch it.
He winks at you.
I will walk around the room in a clockwise motion. Clockwise motion. And peer
Someone's
down the
mic is-
first.
Oh, that was Vaughn doing an electric lighter.
Oh,
Oh,
I recognize the sound
sorry,
of
I
that.
didn't mean for that to go through.
I just assumed it was ambient spookiness. Like maybe one of these wire things is just flickering and making
Flickering.
a hissing noise. But yeah, I'm going to go in a clockwise motion and I'm going to peer down the first corridor on our left at my eye level.
Your eye level. Walking by, first corridor on the left at your eye level is actually going to be past the first corridor on your right at your eye level.
Okay.
And this is you were in hallways. You haven't been in a room for
Oh.
a while.
I thought it was like an antechamber with
No.
many things branching
No
off of it.
antechambers. This is
Then I'm going to peer down each of them as I go past.
each of them as you go past. Okay. They're more following behind you. Look down the first one on the right there. And inside you can smell some of what this rot and decay smells like, as there are old wooden shelves, semi-mildewied over a bit, with what look to be really old supplies stacked on them. You can see from a couple of sacks, there's large vines of potatoes having grown and then rotted away. Other ones that have just big old patches of fuzzy mold. For you, Arboreus, when you see those, it doesn't feel right. The mold does not feel right.
Oborius frowns.
But it's a large storage room of some kind.
I keep walking past that. I do not like it.
At that point, William and BT, you hear the very distinct sound of scuttering. Carapace on stone, heading your direction.
William's gonna try to fly, and then he realizes once more that he cannot fly in his current state. And tries to find a spot that would be good cover to shoot things from.
Most of you see William doing this randomly.
Oborius has
well,
a passive of 19.
what
Do I
direction?
notice anything as well?
You don't notice anything, Arboreus. Only the people of 20 and above will notice this. For BT, it's coming in from the direction that you were heading.
Incoming.
All right. Well,
I will pull out my
Sword and
great
shield.
sword. And I will ignite my great sword as another source of light. And also because it's more fun to kill things that way.
Bracing for
Does it
combat,
sound
no hiding.
hostile?
Racing for combat, no hiding.
Yeah, I'm not very sneaky.
BT, does
Either
it sound
and.
hostile?
Undetermined.
Hmm.
Just approaching.
I'm gonna wild shape and activate my symbiotic entity.
Give me one moment.
I don't know if anything in here would attack us or not. Just saying incoming.
I forgot to sign into Roll20 on my other account. So I can't actually move anyone anywhere right now. Definitely not the right map. As you stand there, boop. The carapace starts coming much louder with where you're looking. It is coming from this direction. And as it does get closer, you can tell, when all of you can hear it, you can tell that this is the sound of carapace on stone.
From the sound, can we get an idea of the size? Not necessarily in terms of like specific measurements, but can we tell if it's like a big thing or a little thing?
Give me an insight check. No, survival check.
I should start using the different dice. These are hard to read. 15.
15. You can tell there's more than one, and there is definitely a heavy step in there.
okay.
Remember, we are somewhere that things shouldn't be in.
I'm gonna say to everyone.
This is their territory. But
I'm
it
gonna say to
doesn't
everyone.
mean that they are turned if they're in here. Remember, we have seen good ones. Just saying.
I'm gonna go. Everybody watch their ears, and I'm going to intimidate with a roar that I hope bounces off the walls of this corridor, the stone corridor, and makes it louder.
Okay. Yeah, give me a intimidation roll with advantage, because you are in a confined area and it will be making it louder. Almost like casting thaumaturgy. I'd probably lower the DC if you added thaumaturgy to it. But I don't think you have that.
I don't have that. My particular type of paladin does not get cantrips. 23.
23.
Right? Yeah, 23.
Alright. The roar echoes through these corridors and these hallways, bouncing off the walls, reverberating and almost compounding upon itself. As it dies down, you no longer hear the scuttering. Moments later, you can hear the scuttering again, but it's moving away from you.
That's good.
Unless they were those who were here to guide us.
Well, I'd rather not take the chance.
Take a chance on me. Take a chance on me.
Better safe than sorry.
William very slowly will come to this over here. See if you can see anything. Can you see anything over there? That away?
You would see what you see on the map. Corridor that continues going along. It looks as though maybe there's another room right here.
What is this? What are these brown squares?
Those are the supplies.
Oh.
Up here, this is the supply room you were looking into.
But they're
No,
all
no.
moldy and
No, over
grown.
here on the left.
What? Oh, that's the end of the map.
Ah.
That's a clear indicator of that's where you're going.
Okay, cool. William will stealthily go this way.
Give me a stealth roll.
Up in here.
And
And I have to do it at
slowly follow behind him.
disadvantage, I assume.
Yeah, that's a skill roll, so it'll be at disadvantage.
That is unfortunate. Oh, man. 14.
14, okay. You can
In
tell
case you're
William's...
wondering, I rolled a 2.
Oh boy. William's trying to be quiet as best as they can. Accidentally kicks a few rocks here and there, but they make minor amounts of noise. Most of you would be able to hear if you were just walking along, but maybe it'll get past. You don't see anything yet.
I'm gonna keep working my way around. I'm gonna check the floor, see if I can tell where I mean, it's stone, so probably not. So maybe fallen hairs or something of what's passed before.
Fallen hairs, but you do notice nearly immediately that these corridors are nowhere near as dusty as the ones you were walking through with Rupert.
Okay. Very good. Okay, continue stealthing down here.
As soon as you start going down this entranceway towards the left-hand side, there's rows and rows of books on shelves. None of them have any titles on their bridges. They're just books.
They also mildewy and stuff? Stanky?
From this distance, you can't quite tell.
I approach.
William's gonna wave you just to stay back just a little bit, make sure he can check things out. So he's gonna keep stealthing into this room.
Okay. William, give me a perception check.
Oh boy. I don't suppose I can just use my passive on this here, but
Yeah, you could. But you're actively doing something here.
true.
That's why I asked for a
15.
roll. 15. With without looking around, you don't see anyone in here. You don't see any signs of traps or anything.
We got the message cantrip, so I'm gonna point at everybody and say, in their minds, looks clear. I'll look around for traps if you want to look around. And then
Boreas is going to respond telepathically and say, "Oh, thank you."
I'm not going to look at the books. I don't care about the books. I'm just going to look for traps in this room we're in.
Okay.
I'm looking for bugs. That's what I'm looking for.
Looking for bugs. Okay.
Bugs, sorry.
Bugs. Right. Okay. Looking for bugs. Looking at books. Boreas BT.
Just
Following
keeping
along.
everyone in sight.
Everyone in sight. Just kind of watching.
Yep.
Cool.
Are these telescopes?
They kind of look like it. They're scrolls.
Scrolls. Okay. I'm gonna stick to books for the time being. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to pick the second shelf down, third book from the left.
Excellent. You pick it out. It's probably actually very akin to this. Just a leather-bound book that, when you pick it up, it's perfectly dry. There's no mildewy or moldiness about it at all. You open it up, and it very clearly reads at the front, Diary of Jane Franklin's.
Jane Franklin's?
Jane Franklin's. And you start sifting through it, and every single text, there's a date on the top. It is a direct one-for-one of exactly what they did in their day, what they heard, the conversations they held, a perfect script of everything they experienced for that day. For you, Draken, when you pick up one book, you get Diary of George Matthias. And it's the same thing. An exact diary of the exact things they did in their day.
This knowing God is kind of a creep.
Maybe there's one of you.
Yeah, not necessarily creepy. If he knows everything, then that's bound to include the goings about of individuals.
Yeah, but it doesn't make you uncomfortable just knowing that there's a being that knows everything.
Makes me jealous. So uncomfortable in that regard, yes. And by jealous, of course, I do mean envious.
Well, then let's see if we can find our diaries.
I don't know if you would be in here. No offense, you're not from this realm, plane. I'm not sure if you would be included, but we can certainly have a look. Looking at the spine of my book, does it say Jane What's-Her-Face on it?
The spine says nothing. However, from where Draken picked up his book, you are so built in. It's built into your character that you spent most of your life in a bookstore. So you know how most things are organized. You know indexing techniques. So I'm not even going to make you roll for this. You will be able to quickly put together that there is an indexing technique here. Despite the fact that they don't have names on their spines, they're all alphabetical per last name.
Okay, then I will look for the K section.
Look for the K section. Okay. Give
What
me
if they don't have a last name?
You say that as you're standing. I'm gonna inside a theater of the minding here. As you're standing next to a bookshelf that is at the top, script very, very slightly. No last names. But give me an investigation check, Teffy, to see if you can find.
12. Probably not.
12. Okay. For 12, you're going in, you read Nigh on the Nigh. Going backwards, because apparently I started with an N. Whoops. Lemurius Nigh, Draken Nigh, Alpha Nigh. One of them is called Draken Nigh.
Yeah, I'll pick that one up. I'll gesture him over and say, well, this one has your name on it. Not sure you'd really want to know the contents of your own journal, your own fate, but, I mean, we can certainly have a flip through.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'll just leave this to you then. I feel like it's not my place to read the entire innermost thoughts of someone that I actually do know for their entire life. So I'm going to hand them
Anyone I
over.
don't know, that's fine. But if I do know them, no.
Yeah, it's different.
It's like an autobiography.
Yeah,
Very
sure.
detailed autobiography.
Draken, you
Yes.
were just handed a relatively small tome. It's not too thick. It's probably thinner than most of them that you've seen in here.
I'm just gonna figure out when it starts.
You open it up right at the beginning.
Hmm.
An exact detail of your first day here. The first day here.
That's about what I expected.
Do I find
Aborius
any
is looking
traps?
There are no traps in this room.
Aborius is looking for Aberrat.
You find one.
Oh, look at this. Starts flipping through it nonchalantly.
Wrong person.
Puts it back. Never mind.
I'm gonna shoot you a message real quick.
Yep. But that does bring up an interesting thing. Anyone who is looking at the books and going through them, if you'd like to give me investigation checks.
Okay.
I'm more concerned about what I just sent you, so I'm just gonna set mine down.
Is that a 22, Taffy?
You boy.
There is something you'll realize.
I thought as much.
Yeah. Good check, though. There are bookshelves with no last names.
Yes, that's where I'm going.
Going through a lot of these books, you will note that a good chunk of them don't have entries past 6 years ago.
A good chunk of them don't.
A good
But
chunk
there
of
are
them
some that do.
depends on how long you're willing to spend here. You've probably already spent close to 15 to 20-ish minutes. If you spend another 40 minutes, I will grant you all a short rest.
Yeah, I'd like
I
to
think
stay for
William
about.
needs a rest.
I'd like to stay for an hour.
For now,
I
okay.
don't think a short rest helps exhaustion.
It doesn't.
Take what you can get.
Well, if you take a short rest and I pull out a Beppis from my bag, which we've
Oh,
already
gosh.
established exist in this universe,
Yeah.
the caffeine content might help.
It won't.
We live our lives in
But
illusion over here.
It'll help the migraine go away, probably. But, so, spending an hour then, Teffy, yeah, you notice all of them do not have entries past 6 years ago. And Draken, actually, you would notice inside your book, if you looked into it even more, it only is detailing your first time here. Your second time, there's no entries on your current time span in this place. Only the first bits. Because that happened more than 6 years ago. You do also find a book on the person you're looking for. It's big.
Of course it
Hefty.
is.
Probably the biggest tome here.
Okay, so how do they work exactly? Are they just like literally up to like all the information it has is like up to this date now? Or like does it go all the way until the end?
presuming Teffy, that you were all sharing your discoveries as you were
Yes.
making them.
Yeah.
Yes, that one as well. But it's a little different. You will note that as of 36 years ago, in current Nathrion date, it changes from a diary of directly what they do to an effect of what they've done, keeping track of the effects of what they've done.
Okay. right.
Laborious with that hour is just looking for, in case there's a book of Abarat, the one he's looking for. Or the one he's from.
The one you're from, no. You do, however, find there is a lengthy tome on the original colony of your people. Lengthy tome. And in fact, actually, give me an investigation check.
Sorry, that was just 6 years ago, not 36 years ago?
Just 6 years ago. That's when everything stopped getting documented.
21.
21. A very peculiar name comes up when you find this book. Glancing through and reading through towards the point where you know Abrat made their ultimate change in the birth of the Aberrations, you note that they were helped by a gravekeeper named Rupert.
I'm going to read that section, sitting down over here.
Very, very keen on his graves.
Okay.
All right. Very quickly. Last known location.
Last known location.
Mm-hmm.
What is it called? I don't have my map. Oh no. Hey. I can't remember what the place was called. Bear with me for a second. Please tell me you're still logged in. You're not. Oh dear. Is it this one? Nope. Great, thank you. That's wonderful to know. Here we go. Last known location. Zaledo.
Spell that real quick.
Zailedo. In the continent of Andrea.
All right. I've got a lot more information to gather from this, so I'm going to put it in my bag of holding.
Okay.
I'm going to cram it
Just
into my bag.
Is that your own book or someone else's?
That was somebody else's.
someone else's. You would see, you would notice, because of how difficult it would be to get this giant tome into the small opening of the bag of holding, that he is putting a much larger tome, one that you didn't look at, into his bag.
Draken, I'm not sure we should be just taking information from this library.
Well, I'm gonna try.
You're gonna try stealing from a god the thing that they're god of? I'm not sure that's gonna end particularly well for any of us.
At this point, you know when you're like trying to fit like a big square thing into a bag and you have to do that thing where you like slowly shimmy it up? That's what I'm doing at this point. I'm just like slowly shimmying it into the bag of holding.
BT. It's towards the end of
Yee.
the hour.
Mm-hmm. I'm just watching everything.
While you're watching, the direction where those sounds had been coming from, a thin train of living metal is snaking its way up towards you. It's just hit your 60-foot range. And you could tell this is the wrong kind of living metal, the kind that is unfavorable. But it is moving your direction.
Crap. We got problems. People.
All right.
What do you mean
I'll
the
make my
problems
way.
What
exactly?
sort?
Yoink.
Yoink.
Bad metal. Coming this way.
You can
Like
all,
the-
if you would like, hit the short rest button. A few of you will have a few things that recharge on it. I think you've used.
Aborius, like Drake and Nye, Aborius is going to take that book of the original colony and attempt to integrate it into himself so that he can take it with him.
You can. I would say that takes most of your integrated into self capacity.
That makes sense. Not an endless.
Yeah.
being here.
No, yeah. You don't have a. You're not a bag of holding. You're just a bag. So, what are you all doing? The thing of living metal is snaking its way up towards you.
Well, there is it.
You can't see it.
I
just
suggest
yet.
we just walk around it. I think we can move faster than it can.
I wouldn't assume that.
I think we can move faster than it's going right now, but I don't think we can go faster than it in general. I feel like that thing is it's a pretty slippery sort of substance.
At this point, you can now see a thin trail of silver moving along the ground. It does not end as it continues to grow and get closer to you. It's about maybe the width of a pencil or the pen that you might be using right now. Very thin, snaking along the ground. And when it gets about 20 feet away from you, the head of it snakes up and starts pointing up a little and then curves down as if looking at you all.
I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with the good old acid breath. Just pop
So
it right in the face real
violent right at the
quick.
beginning. Okay. What do I need to roll?
Well, I was told it was the bad metal.
It is the bad metal. I know that.
As an action, once per short rest, exhale a 5 by 30-foot line. Dex DC of 13, half damage on success.
Okay, roll your damage. It's saved on its dex. I rolled a raw 18.
Nice. 12.
12. You breathe directly onto its line, slamming it. It kind of shifts a little bit, but mostly gets hit. And when it comes away, you can see steam coming from bits of this metal, little tiny pockets. You can tell instantly it didn't do as much as you expected it would, even for it moving a little out of the way. But it's still there, and then just twists your direction.
All right, anybody else got any ideas?
Well, I wanted to just observe it a bit first, because it seemed like it was just observing us. Before
What do you want?
had a toast on it.
I ask it directly. What do you want?
Coming from it, you hear a voice.
Just wondering where you were. You told us you were here so nicely. And yet, you haven't come to play yet. Why is that?
Who did we decide this was?
At one point, I believe it was concluded that it was love.
Yeah, the opposite.
So? Are you gonna come play? Or are you just gonna stand there with your silly books?
Why should we?
'Cause I was
We're not here for
nice.
you.
I pulled the soldiers away from you. I want to play with you.
I'm gonna look over at Teffy with this kind of a look like,
Do we all hear this, or is it just BT?
You could
and
all
the-
hear it. You
Yeah.
can all
Yeah,
hear
it
it.
should-
This voice is coming from this small little piece of living metal. I say small, it just continues to trail around.
I wish I could. I wish you couldn't use living metal. Because I need living metal so badly. It
William
worries
looks
me.
to Teffy. How would you like to proceed?
Frankly, this is not my wheelhouse. This is something that BT would be the point on, as far as I'm aware,
It
historically
worries
speaking.
me that a primordial is living inside the temple of knowing.
Yeah, that is very concerning. Very concerning. And the fact that I think this conversation should maybe be
I can
continued
hear
elsewhere.
everything you're saying.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I know that, Worm.
Why
think
is the
this
knowing letting
conversation-
you stay here?
Oh, we kicked him out.
You kick the knowing out.
Sure. It's a reasonable answer, isn't it?
How did you even get in? I thought that this place was basically warded from primordials.
Oh, you can think a lot. You don't know anything, do you?
It just continues moving a little bit.
Did you expect an actual answer from me?
William's
I'm your
started
enemy. Why would I tell you anything?
creeping along this here wall.
Isn't a fight more fun when it's fair?
No. It's more fun when you lose and I win. And who said anything about a fight? We're just gonna play.
Do I see anything this other way?
Nothing.
Is it wrapped all the way around that way? Where's it wrapped?
That's a storage room that you saw previously.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a storage room.
So where's this worm coming from?
Over here.
Wait, I'm confused. I thought that was the
This
end of,
is
part
the end
wall.
of... No, it's not a wall. It's opened up to show you that it's not a wall. It's the end of the map. I can't make the full catacombs. Too big of a map. Too big of a map. That way continues on. It keeps going.
Okay.
what direction is this thing looking currently?
It's looking towards your group, at Taffy right now, because it finds her questions amusing.
The only idea I have is violence. So unless somebody's got a better idea.
We can't fight him.
I want to come back, I guess.
If we fight him, we'll lose.
Do I still have my walkie-talkie? I do. BT, do you still have your talkie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I will talkie to BT. I think it might be prudent if we disengage and leave. See if we can maybe find Rupert and have him explain what's going on here.
Rupert led us here. I can't assume that he led us here just for the books.
Seemingly, there's probably more to this than we've currently found.
Does Abarat have a walkie-talkie?
Abarat
Oh,
is a
right.
giant
You guys are
tree.
talking to each other.
Boreas does not, but yeah, Boreas, you wouldn't have heard that.
No.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna look at BT and do a shrug, gesturing it's up to him how we proceed. I've made my views in general very clear that I do want to encounter the knowing God. I just don't want to engage with this love worm creature.
Look over. I want to look over the floor in here.
Okay.
Is there a construction type to it?
Vaguely. It's strange in the sense that with those strange curves that you see on the map, that was going to be a battle map, but you all frightened the things away, so not a battle map anymore. Now it's just useful. Those curves do exist, but you can tell they were carved out. Just not recently. Very, very long time ago. These caverns are old, but they were made, and they had a purpose to them. When you're looking around, though, give me a survival or a nature check. And I'll give you an advantage, because there are other things that you've all observed that will help piece this together.
Okay. Well, survival then.
Whee! Look at those dice.
Well, it's an natural 20.
You
Oh,
definitely did it.
baby.
There are pieces of tunnel work that are very fresh and new.
Which would
I
be
see.
one he's coming from?
No. The
Oh.
direction that they're coming from is an old one, but the ones on the ceilings, the ones at different level heights, those are new holes. Those were not part of the original construction. By your wagering, with a natural 20, easily done within 6 years' time.
So what I was hoping for when I was trying to get at was that he was limited to some area of this and not just freely roaming, but it looks like he's freely roaming.
Yeah, before that natural 20, and as that is primarily what you're getting at, yeah, free roaming.
Damn.
Is there any sacrifice that I can make to make it so that I can fly?
You can fly just at half your speed.
Oh. I will fly.
I don't know, Tuffy.
How high is this tunnel?
Your call. We're here for
40
the noise.
feet-ish.
Cool.
How do we find him?
While Taffy makes a decision, I am going to prepare something if I can.
I will give... how about this, actually? Everyone roll a d20 quickly.
Ooh.
Everyone who's looking through the books, actually, roll a d20 quickly.
Not me.
I need to specify
That's not
that.
me.
Yeah, so...
I will slowly fly at the top of this tunnel, trying to creep around the worm to see if I can get more information a little further along.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. For those of you who looked through the books, who rolled... Is that a 5 for Draken? Was it an 11
yeah.
for Teffy?
16 for Arborius.
Laborious. You did find a map of the structure of the Temple of Knowing.
Ooh.
You know where it is. You didn't pick it up.
While they're talking, then.
You're sneaking back in to check that out while they're engaging with this. The little worm head kind of moves a little bit to observe William, but then moves back towards Teffy and the rest. William, while you're going down, you do see that this corridor curves around, and it is getting more refined in its structure as it goes, and this worm thing is along a path all the way on the ground, trailing back and it does not end as far as you can see. It curves around another open archway, and you cannot see where it goes from that point.
From this point on, unless something happens, like we go into combat, I am switching over to my observation of the worm, living metal, using primordial vision. I am really, really, really trying to figure out the separation between love and the living metal there. I need to figure out how to separate those two.
Okay.
That is what I'm concerning about.
Give me... I can see insight for this, given what you are, what you're using, what you're looking at. Arcana would work as well.
I'll dump primordial into it as well.
Okay, then Arcana would be the most logical.
Okay. Arcana it is.
Oh,
You look at that. 2 20s in a row.
Maybe.
That makes up for that one earlier.
Amazing. They're
Wow,
completely separate. There's no entwining of the energies at all. She's just using it as a tool.
Is there any way I can separate it?
No. There's no way you could separate a primordial from this yourself. You would need to be a primordial.
Technically, I'm part primordial.
You're not part primordial. You just have a primordial giving you some energies.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you part primordial. If that was the case, then Teffy would also be part primordial.
Well, yeah.
They're not.
There's
a bonding.
no way I can override the living metal commands from what the primordial is commanding it.
You could try.
No. Not if I try, I open myself up to love. I cannot risk that. I am looking for a flat override.
Nothing I can give you for free. You would need to make a roll, so it would have to be you can try.
Yeah, well, after 2 20s, I know my next roll is not going to be good. It will be the one, and
Come on.
they will be killing BT.
You can't get another. Come on, give it a try.
not a gambling man, I see.
No, I'm an odds man.
Boreas, you come back with your map. Good timing.
I'm gonna hand it over to Teffy.
Take the map. I look at the map. Where is the worm coming from? What is that labeled as on the map?
You can see, you find actually fairly quickly where you are on the map. And you figure out fairly quickly as well that many of these other tunnels that are fresher, they're not on the map. Nothing about them is, but where this worm's coming from is on the map. And it's going down to the primary chambers. A place that is labeled... Oh crap, what is it labeled? I'm on the wrong page. The Altar of Knowing.
Well, in the second that the metal worm thing looked up at William, I'm going to reach behind my back and just grasp onto the handle of one of my throwing axes, and I am going to cast on myself, under my breath, Branding Smite.
Nice.
Concentration up to 1 minute. It's a bonus action. The next time you hit a creature with a weapon attack, before the spell ends, the weapon gleams with astral radiance. As you strike, the attack deals an extra 2d6 radiant damage to the target. If it is invisible, the target sheds dim light in a 5-foot radius. Cannot become invisible. The spell ends.
Amazing.
And then I'm going to ready my attack actions for if this thing makes a move.
I'm going to steel myself and say, well, onwards and upwards, right? Excelsior. Let's trace this thing back. And then I'm going to start walking around, see if I can get around the head of the worm creature. Does its head sort of like follow me as I walk around?
Follows you, and as you start walking past, it starts retreating to keep pace with you and continues looking at you.
The end may have closed for now. We hope you met a friendly score.